This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. If you're listening to the W Show on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, or watching us on one of our W Show social media pages, we appreciate you tuning in. My name is Steve Walls, and as always, I'm joined by the other hosts of the show, DJ Q, Jazz, and Noah. Good morning. How is everyone?
Man, we're good. And it's gloomy weather.
Yeah, it's gloomy. Jazz, how are you?
Good.
How was everyone's week?
It's pretty good. Felt like we've been mourning DMX all week.
Oh yeah. We most definitely lost a member of the culture this week. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of rapper, songwriter, actor DMX, who passed away at the young age of 50 earlier this week. Memories of DMX from Q. I know he was more in both of our eras, you know. Your thoughts?
Man, one of my biggest memories, I think it was the Hard Knock Life tour with Rough Riders. And when that came into town, it was such a big deal.
Right.
But it was on a school night. So so that's one of my biggest memories, because it's like in 98, 99, DMX, you couldn't escape him. And when you think about a time before cell phones, before anything, if you were in school, there's a kid somewhere in the hallway rapping DMX.
Oh, for sure.
Easily. So you couldn't escape it. So
yeah. And I think you mentioned that Hard Knock Life tour. I think I was a junior in high school, sophomore or junior.
No, you were probably like a freshman.
Was I a freshman? Probably.
Yeah,
I know I was high school.
I think I was a junior, so sophomore, junior, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I just remember going. I went with Lawrence. Shout out to him. But yeah, went down there. There was at Kemper Arena, I believe, right?
Yeah.
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 But and I know my memories of DMX were, I know there was supposed to be like a transition in electronics age, which they were going to do away with the CD player Walkman. And I'm not sure if you all remember, but they had this electronic card. It was the mini disc player, where like it was mini disc CDs. But
very small,
it really, now that I'm thinking about it, it made no sense, because you had to have a CD player to record onto the mini disc. So so it made no sense. But the mini discs were like real small. And
I think I missed that.
There was a mini disc. Yeah, this was like 98, 99.
Yeah, I missed that one completely. It must be short-lived.
It was very short-lived. And
it was completely stupid, because the discs went from like 13 inches to like regular discs to like small. Like it's just,
Yeah, so I had one of those, and it was basically compared to a Walkman, but imagine mini CDs, probably the size of a card. A playing card. That's what they were, and you could put it in this little thing. But it lasted probably for about a year, and that was really it. It never really caught on. So yeah, but yeah, DMX, definitely a member of the culture that we lost. Want to send congratulations to a couple of our guys, Ochai Agbaji of KU and Jeremiah Robinson Earl of Villanova. Both guys are entering the NBA draft. Ochai definitely, he said that he is leaving his option to come back to KU. He's leaving that option open because he's not going to hire an agent. So Jeremiah Robinson Earl, definitely, he said he's going to hire an agent. I believe he'll probably be a lottery pick, top 13 at least. But both those guys definitely are from Kansas City, played in our State Line Showdown All-Star game. So shout out to those guys.
Yes, sir.
Coming up on today's show, since we're talking college basketball, Baylor ended Gonzaga's perfect season with their first national championship game in a very lopsided fashion.
Very.
Very. And who would have thought the Chiefs head coach Andy Reid knows how to text? He sent Steelers wide receiver JuJu-Smith Schuster some text during free agency. Yeah, very surprising, I know. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we will have our sneakers of the week in our Hated or Leverage segment. Let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on The W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Baylor overwhelmed Gonzaga, ending the Bulldogs' perfect season to win first men's basketball national title. A game that was supposed to be the dramatic final act of the long, weird season became such a mismatch that one of the participating coaches could take a couple of plays off from even watching.
Yeah, this is it's definitely, it was a surprising game. You know, it started out 9-0. And I'm like, all right, come on, Gonzaga. And I thought for sure, you know, the bets, I told you guys, I was like, would you take the field or Gonzaga? And I was definitely taking the field. You know, perfect season, that's very hard to do. And I think it was beneficial for Baylor that they did not play Gonzaga back in December when they were supposed to. Of course, they didn't do it because of COVID-19. But if Gonzaga had been able to face Baylor, they would have been able to understand the aggressiveness of the way that Baylor played, because they were very aggressive. You could just tell.
It was bully ball.
Yeah, it was.
They got up into them. They played. I think the main thing to look at in that game is the Baylor's guards played very good defense, very physical defense.
Very.
Got up into the Gonzaga guards, and they couldn't create off the dribble. And if you can't create off the dribble, what else are you gonna do? You can't shoot over them. Your big men are neutralized pretty much. It was a very good game by Baylor. The last 2 years they've only lost like 5 or 6 games total. So I don't know why. I mean, they were 1 seed for a reason. I don't know why people are so surprised that they were actually there. So
yeah. No, it's funny to see that, you know, this Cinderella team, you know, it's very reminiscent to a friend of the show that thought the Chiefs were going to go 19-0 the past 2 seasons, and it didn't happen. And so this game was very reminiscent of the Super Bowl. You know, you had two guards that played very up in your face defense, just like in the Super Bowl. You had 2 linebackers for Tampa Bay that just didn't ease up. And they were on every tackle. So you look at, you know, I look at the similarities between that. I know it's hard for Steve, but no, it was a really good game. From a standpoint of just another team getting dominated, and you didn't expect it. You expected the other team to come out and really like make it a game, especially how exciting the past couple of weeks were. And they just they got dogged out.
and who was it that said it? I think it was Mike Tyson said, you don't know how tough a person is until you get punched in the mouth by him, and or punched in the face. And Baylor definitely came out there and punched him in the face. I mean, you could just see how lopsided that it was. I mean, you knew Baylor was going to come in and shoot threes. You knew that. You knew they were going to play aggressive. However, it's just like they didn't match up well. And Gonzaga, you know, Suggs got into foul trouble. That hurt him early. But your star player in a national championship game, you have to keep him out there. He had 2 fouls. He's a star. He has to learn how to play with 2 fouls early. And when they put him on the bench, I think they didn't have any offense. Definitely. And that hurt him. And I was sent a text earlier this week and said, if I was the coach of Gonzaga, what would I tell my guys differently? And it would be definitely prepare for their aggressiveness. You got to come out. You can't just play lax because you've been able to skate by and come back. Kind of like the Chiefs. And Q, you alluded to it earlier, but it's kind of like the Chiefs. Chiefs will they know they're that Ferrari that's kind of coasting along on the highway, and a Honda Accord pulls up next to them and wants to try them, and they know that they can take off every time. However, when that next Ferrari pulls up alongside of them, they're going to give them a match, and that's exactly what Baylor was able to do against Gonzaga.
Yeah, it's all about matchups when it comes to basketball. All about matchups, and that was just a terrible matchup when it comes to styles, conflicting styles, and it's just kind of reminiscent of kind of I saw somebody tweet this. It's like when that the AAU tournament, and you got the one team from kind of from the mud, they got a bunch of brothers from the same school
from the inner city.
Exactly, and they going up against the team that they played team they play
the
team
suburbs.
ball, kind of the suburbs basically.
In Missouri, that school is Rockbridge, right, Steve?
What's that, Rockbridge?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I don't know that.
No, I would say that would be Lincoln College Prep going up against Rockhurst.
I was going to say Rockhurst is the one that I seen. Like those kids now, they're very good at basketball. I ran into a kid a couple weeks ago that goes there now. He's a very good basketball player, but that's kind of what I mean. It's like those conflicting styles, and more often than not, it goes to the more aggressive team.
For sure.
I just would have liked to see it at least be a game. I thought it was at least going to be closer, and then here I am at halftime, almost falling asleep. So it would. I would have liked to at least see it have been competitive, but
I agree. I definitely agree. I mean, the people that placed money on them wanted to see a game as well.
Right, for sure. But it is what it is. Now, JuJu-Smith Schuster says head coach Andy Reid texted pics of Lombardi Trophy in free agency pursuit. Juju said on the podcast, Andy Reid was just calling me and he was sending me Lombardi Trophy pictures like constantly. We had a good talk, so it would have been Casey after the Steelers. Like he texted the trophy pictures to me while I was trying to make a decision, and I have so much respect for him and his team. So yeah.
Is that not taunting? Is that not taunting?
First of all, it's not taunting. I didn't know Andy Reid knew how to text, right? I didn't know Big Red knows how to do the little on the phone.
He has to. He's come on, man.
Andy Reid got.
It's 2021, man.
Andy, come on. Some guys like Bill Belichick. He's another one. I would say if there's a couple of coaches in the league, it'd be Bill Belichick and Andy Reid.
Bill too. Like he's too with it. Like he's too up here. He got it. I wouldn't believe.
Like
that.
Steve has a very lopsided perception because for a guy that's as fluid as Andy Reid, when it comes to culture, like he can relate to a lot of different cultures in his players. And to relate to those different cultures in younger men, you have to be able to text. Now, Andy Reid probably owns a Samsung phone and has a green text bubble, but that's fine. And if he does have that, that's fine. But if I'm JuJu-Smith Schuster, I'm not coming to Kansas City. You sending that to me?
Here we go.
No, I'm upset.
Second of all, Andy Reid, is he a part of the mob or what? That's what an old school mobster would do. I mean, just send you a picture of the trophy. And all right, you either gonna come or you're not. That's just what it is.
So it's very old school. But
in all seriousness, no, we all know that JuJu-Smith Schuster wants to be a number one wide receiver. We get it. He doesn't want to take a back seat. I mean, when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs roster offensively, the number one option is Tyreek Hill. You know that the secondary, possibly 1A, 1B option is Travis Kelce. You know that. So to me, I think he would thrive in that number 3 role. I mean, we saw JuJu-Smith Schuster when in Pittsburgh, when Antonio Brown was there. We saw what he was able to do he was getting the number 2, and most of the time, if AB was double, he would get the number 3 corner, and he was balling. I mean, when you look at his stats in 2017, he had 917 yards, 17 touchdowns. 7 touchdowns. In 2018, he had over 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns. So. The past 2 years, he's only had 552 and then 800 yards. So the proof is in the pudding.
I say, I know what he was doing. He wants that contract, and if the next year he's up to get paid. So if he's up there putting up number 3 receiver numbers, he's not going to get paid like a number 1.
Well,
I completely understand.
Well,
I would.
not, we've seen the Chiefs though. We've seen Patrick Mahomes spread the ball out. We've seen them have multiple 1,000-yard guys that make the Pro Bowl.
The Chiefs can't pay him though. The problem is the Chiefs themselves couldn't pay him. Like they wouldn't have it in the budget to pay him.
They could pay him. That's the reason why Andy Reid texting the Lombardi trophies like, "Come on over here to Death Row Records." Come on.
They're gonna pay. So wait, as far as just receivers, they're gonna pay Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, and Juju.
JuJu-Smith was going to get anywhere between $5 and $7 million for a 1-year deal.
1-year deal. So the next year, I'm talking about the next year.
They only wanted
to get his contract.
Yeah. So next year he would come to Kansas City for 1 year and then ball out, and then of course you go sign your big payday.
I don't know about that one. Honestly, for his sake. Now I get the part about him being the number 3 option and he would flourish and the Chiefs would run everybody off the field just like they did last year up until the playoffs. But like there's I don't see him doing that as far as wanting to put up that 1,500 yard season, 10 touchdown season for his sake. That's all I'm saying.
But look at what Antonio Brown leaving a situation does for the confidence of the next player behind him. Like Antonio Brown was so good that he has JuJu-Smith Schuster thinking that he's like somewhere in that number 1 receiver level. And that's not reality. So I love the story. I love that Juju wants to get paid, but if he wants to be a number 1 wide receiver, he's got to do a lot more.
Most definitely.
I agree with this 100%.
Now, Beats by Dre terminates relationship with DeShaun Watson while Nike suspends endorsement deal. Nike has suspended endorsement deal with him while iconic headphones brand Beats by Dre has severed its business relationship with the Houston Texans quarterback on Wednesday. Sources have confirmed to Yahoo Sports. Nike released a statement that said the apparel giant was deeply concerned by the disturbing allegations and would continue to closely monitor the situation. Watson is currently the subject of 22 civil suits from women alleging sexual misconduct or sexual assault. Noah, we'll start with you.
It's just very unfortunate. It's not looking very good as far as just everything along with this. His lawyer came out and gave a statement. It's now being said that, it was consensual. Everything that from their side of things, they're saying everything was consensual, not just nothing happened at all. It's just very unfortunate, but I mean, it's kind of necessary at this point. We just got to wait till all the facts come out. We can't condemn even until everything comes out and, he's judged in a court of law, but it's not looking good. Honestly, from my perspective, it's not looking very good.
And I understand the pause for comment because I've paused a lot on comment. I think this is probably the 3rd week we've had something related to this situation. But it seems from my perspective, a lot that DeShaun Watson's lawyer puts out, especially about the women and then the different massage therapists that say he didn't do anything. Like, I mean, that doesn't negate anyone else's experience, but as far as them breaking down a lot of what happened and a lot of the accusations, a lot of it just sounds like it's very gray area. And I, again, not to discount any women that go through different sexual assault situations. These are all very individual cases, but it seems like a lot of them are being broken down. And even one of the 20-something accusations, one of them, she's not cooperating anymore because of the prosecuting lawyer and his antics. So it's just a lot of gray area, and I hate it for him and his family, and I hate it for these women because whatever they've gone through, if they have to keep going through this, to keep telling their story, it's just it just muddies the waters too much, and you just hate that it's gotten to this point where these brands have to pull out because they don't know anything. and it's tough to know, and it's tough to take a stance. So hey, everybody, just sit back and let's wait for it to play out.
Yeah, and I totally agree. We have to let it play out. It's just that the court of public opinion has been tainted, I think, a little bit with the attorneys for the plaintiffs. I really do. Just the way that he's taken to social media, just the way that and I understand keeping them as Jane Doe. I totally get that, but not providing the names to the attorneys for DeShaun Watson. I don't agree with that. Because that way they have no way to build a case. I mean, they have a way to build a case, but just providing and going back to and it's 22 women. That way they're able to have a solid case to build around. But here's the thing too, back to the sponsorships of Nike and Beats by Dre. I mean, we knew this was coming. We knew. Yeah. I mean, when you look in the past and you see some of the other the Lance Armstrongs, the Tiger Woods, Michael Vick, Adrian Peterson, and most notably, I think Kobe Bryant. I mean, he lost an endorsement deal with Coca-Cola when he was going through all of what he went through with the one woman in Colorado, but he also lost Adidas as well, and he ended up joining Nike. And I think some people would say, of course, Nike got him for cheap, but they stuck with him throughout it, and then he got his bag after the fact, with the whole Mamba deal. But Nike did stay with him, and so it just shouldn't come as a surprise that these sponsorships is going to pull out. It was just as a matter of when and which one would be the first one to do so.
And someone on the live is asking how many years if found guilty. If he's found guilty, it's a civil suit. This isn't even money. These aren't criminal suits. So.
Yeah, just money. That's all. That's another one of the things is like, okay, are you just wanting the monetary, or are you wanting to just put him out there as this type of person? Like, which one are you? What are you wanting to gain from this? That's just what I didn't understand. It was like, all right, it's out there now. So now what else what's the next thing that's going to happen with this?
So from what I've read, pretty interestingly, is that his lawyers have gone and interviewed more massage therapists. So there's more of them that have, and they've saying that he was nothing but a gentleman, and whatever happened was consensual. And I think it's even weirder because there's even more like massage therapists, like just on its face alone, like just having that many different people, do massage therapy. I think we know that it's probably not just, he wasn't hiring them just for massage therapy, which that again, court of public opinion, that just sucks. It just looks weird. And then now you have it's split to where you have these allegations, and then you have some that say he didn't do anything to me and everything was cool. And now you have interviews and you have different sides bringing out different people. So it's turned into a real mess at this point. Now it's like the court case is like, it's almost like the other side of the people that are going against, DeShaun Watson. It's like the lawyer got what he wanted. When it became like a circus-like atmosphere, that's what it's really turned into. It's like, it's just pointing fingers everywhere. You did this, who did this? And man, it just stinks for him and his family and those women, because if this really happened, you have to keep rehashing and you have to keep proving that, like, yes, he did something to me. It's completely awful.
And he has this. Here's the thing too. I don't know how it's not 2020, but like, what's the deal? Why has he chosen to go to 22 different massage therapists? I mean, that's kind of weird though. And like I said last week, when there's smoke, there's fire. But here, hey, if I like a certain car wash, I'm not gonna go to 11 different car washes just because I can get my car clean there. I'm gonna choose that one car wash that I like, that's near to me, and that's where I'm a frequent.
So again, Steve, from your perspective, what do you do when you find a car wash that you don't like?
I'm gonna keep it moving. But it's not going to take me 22 different car washes to figure out
how do you know? But that's what I'm saying. And then we're comparing car washes to bodily maintenance. So again, how do you know he didn't go to different ones? Maybe he
my
had
car is just as important as my body, man. Come on.
yeah. And I understand it, and I don't even want to make excuses, but he's not dealing with the same people. Like he has trainers that he deals with,
of course,
for the team,
right.
And then he probably has trainers that he deals with in the off season and when he's traveling around. So again, the number of massage therapists, yes, it does raise questions, but still,
Adam brings up a good point. That you can't always be in one spot. You have to, you would have to use different ones.
As a celebrity, you cannot.
He's always moving around. He's in different states playing different games, so he would have to use different ones. I would like to know how many of these massage therapists were in Houston, like actually where he resides, because we do know he was trying to get out of Houston. Now, if there was a ton of these these incidents that happened in Houston, then we would kind of know why he would want to get out, even though these allegations would still come out. So it's just a lot, man. It's a lot. I hate it.
It's a lot, but when you look at celebrities, and me working in the entertainment industry, when you fly in celebrity acts and different things, they don't want to go to the same places all the time. They don't want to sit in the same spot too much, like not too long. Like normally they send people beforehand. When you book the hotel room, you're booking it under some other name. Like there's a lot that goes into protecting like celebrity. For him, going through Instagram, just finding random people, again, that's a misstep. But where does he go? Like as an athlete, who do you go to trust? So again, there's a lot of gray area, and that's why it just causes a big mess, like we've been talking about.
Yeah, I would just always go back to what we've always said is this: your people, your circle, your people around you. You have to have a person for that. You have to have a certain person to say, hey, this is what I need. You got to make sure that I'm straight, whether it's you're going to play in Dallas, whether you're going to play in Pittsburgh. You got to have your guy to say, all right, here is this person's name. This is who I prefer. This is the type of massage I prefer. Get me a person that's able to that I'm able to deal with on a regular basis.
Definitely.
For sure. Very gray area. But ESPN fired Paul Pierce after his racy Instagram live video. ESPN fired the analyst after the Boston Celtics legend posted a racy Instagram live video over the weekend. The video featured Pierce in a room with exotic dancers. The cable sports network ended its working relationship with Pierce on Monday. An industry source told CNN Business. ESPN declined to comment on Pierce leaving the network. Representatives for Pierce also did not immediately respond for requests for comment. The news of Pierce's firing was first reported by Front Office Sports.
Here's the thing, man. He deserves.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't deserve this.
Come on. All right. Here's my take on this. You, as a former professional athlete. As a professional athlete, you're also a professional in an entertainment business. You work for Disney. The Disney is the parent company. If you guys didn't know, if our viewers and listeners didn't know, on 100.1 FM and also social media, Disney or ESPN is owned by Disney, Walt Disney, like a family company. Like there's kids that associate with Disney. So Disney want that your own live feed. Smoking marijuana, which is not illegal. You're on a live feed, which you have exotic dancers that are half naked, which is not illegal. You're throwing poker chips at the exotic dancer, which is not illegal. However, it's morals. It's the morality behind it all. Now, none of what he did is not illegal. Even though he's a married man and all that, none of it is illegal. However, it's just the moral principle behind it, and that's why he was fired from ESPN. Now we can debate it all day long. Or, well, it's cool. I mean, or not. However, it's just the morals behind it.
So if we're sticking with morality, ever since 2009, when ESPN for every year promotes the body issue and shows naked athletes on their programming, And then also in magazines that go in grocery stores, if we're so worried about nudity, then why is ESPN allowed to have a body issue every year and able to promote it? Again, we have to stay consistent in our in our criticisms. If ESPN is attacking this from a morality issue, there would be a lot that would be out the door. Rob Gronkowski would never be on television, especially with him humping trophies and different women and all of, like, they literally show these guys in strip clubs and in the clubs when videos go viral. But they have no issue with that when they can control the narrative. And it's an issue of control. And yes, like, if you would like to control people, say that in your contract. You can't do anything that we do and then get away with it. And so that's the issue that I have with these corporations.
I'm sure it's somewhere in his contract. Otherwise, he has a lawsuit that says, "Hey, this is what you can and can't do. You can and can't." And then, heck, we can't sit up here and say, "All right, the ESPN can do this, ESPN can do that." They're their own brand. They're I mean, like I said, they're Disney. They're their own brand. Yeah. So if he steps out of line and they're paying his paycheck. So if he don't
control,
if that's what it amounts to be, and they're paying his paycheck, you can't step out of line and do something that's negative, looked upon negatively for their brand. We haven't seen. You talked about the body issue, but we haven't seen, like, they may show exotic dancers or whatever, like, in the background, but you'll see it like blurred out. Like, you won't see it where it's right there in front of you. You just won't see that.
Do you want to Google the body issue? Because I'm looking at the inner thigh of Rob Gronkowski. I'm looking at his inner thigh right now.
Can I interject here? Mm-hmm. Like, so as far as, like, because you both bring up great points. Mm-hmm. I think it, like everything else, it kind of the truth kind of lies more in the middle. Like, I'm sure ESPN knows that all of things that are unsavory go down with people who work for them. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you just can't be, I guess, I don't want to use dumb, but you can't be unaware enough to, like, go live yourself doing that, because nobody, I don't think anybody is saying you can't do anything. Mm-hmm. I think ESPN probably just fired him just because, like, what are you doing? Why are you going live? Like, you can do this. You can be this person. I'm sure everybody at ESPN knows that these sort of parties go down and he attends them.
Oh, of course.
But you just can't go live and show yourself, and then you can't solicit. I mean, let's be real here. You soliciting prostitution on his live, pretty much.
That wasn't prostitution.
I mean,
you can't relate. You can't call exotic dancing prostitution.
Yeah, it's not, like, those wasn't prostitution. Yeah. What we talked about in the meeting was that they were now throwing ones and throwing poker chips are two totally different things. Like, they were being pelted.
The optics on that.
The
optics on that is
even in the video. We've all seen the video. Even in the video, Paul Pierce was like, you hit me with a poker chip, man. Like, and he wasn't joking. Like, he said it hurt. So he can't sit up there and say that. And the moral of the story is like, it's clearly intoxicated. Mm-hmm. Clearly. I mean, eyes were bloodshot red. So
that's fine. He wasn't operating a vehicle. He was on his own account. He didn't tag ESPN. He didn't. So if anybody adds that correlation to it, that's on them. And so again, ESPN is just being hypocritical. And it's fine if you write the paychecks and you want to be a hypocrite. Yes, but then also don't stand here and tell me that equality matters and all of these different things matter on the field because you want to control a man on his own social media account. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, you're paying people way too much money to want to control them.
But we don't see other
that's their prerogative
and broadcasters that are up there doing what Paul Pierce did. And I'm sure if they did, they'd probably be fired as well.
And they aren't as good. They aren't as good at their specific specialty like he is in basketball. They aren't as good as him. They aren't as insightful.
No. Paul Pierce is terrible at basketball analysis.
I'm saying he has real world experience in the NBA, so he can offer a different insight. Now, as far as him trolling, yes, I didn't say anything about his sports analysis. I'm just saying he's better at his job than they are.
Here's the thing too: if Dwayne Wade went out there and did what Paul Pierce did, he would be fired as well. If Shaq went out there and did what Paul Pierce did, he would definitely. Charles Barkley, all those guys, they would all be fired.
I just think it was dumb of him to do. I just think it was dumb of him to post that on his social media. I think he can do whatever he wants to do, and I think ESPN shouldn't be hypocritical. But if you're going to do that, man, at least like keep it to yourself. Like, I get it if somebody else recorded a video and said, "Oh, look at Paul Pierce, he's doing this." Then he's like, "Man, I can't control what other people do." But he literally pressed the live button.
Hold on, before you say this, Q, what do we have at the end of the show? A disclaimer. He had no disclaimer, like none of that.
That's on the
disclaimer. ESPN, and that's at the end of the show. They have that disclaimer.
He wasn't on ESPN. So again, what does that point mean? He was on his own social media page.
He's still branded by ESPN in his own IG account.
Paul Pierce was a brand before he worked at ESPN. Sorry,
I understand that, but right now, but prior to him being fired, he still had on his IG account an analyst for ESPN on his IG account.
He lists his job. Yes,
exactly. So without a disclaimer on there, you can't do that. You just can't. You got to.
He can do that.
And I go back to what I said earlier. He got to have smarter people in his circle. Like all those guys that were around at the poker game, they should be like, "Hey man, why you got you a brand? You can't sit up here and have women on your no. You got to have smarter people in your circle."
And my counter to all that is that Paul Pierce probably wanted to be fired.
Yeah, he probably wanted to leave. Honestly, he probably has better opportunities.
Exactly. I believe he's that smart to say, "Hey, I'm just gonna do it." Yeah, and that's fine. Look, that's fine. That's fine that you don't. But a man that has worked his way through KU basketball, like the heights of that, into the heights of being with the big three and the Celtics, I'm pretty sure he's smart enough to know when he can and can't do something and use that as leverage to get fired because, he would have to pay back money. But no, y'all let me go. This is y'all's decision. Sorry.
So he can get unemployment now, huh?
Unemployment? What you mean unemployment? He could start a podcast tomorrow and start collecting money.
He should have did it. He should have did it 2 days ago.
But now the adult entertainment webcam company, Cam Soda, they've offered Pilch a job.
Money on the table,
$250,000 per year. $50 on the table.
I don't know how dumb that move sounds now.
I mean, money on the table. I would do it. I mean, what do you mean, $250 to talk sports? Yeah, what?
Hey, y'all was just calling him dumb, and he's got money on the table still. Sorry.
I mean, he's not smart. Let's be real here, Q. You would never do Q.
I don't know that man to say that. I would do that if I want to get out of it. If I want to get out of a situation, yes.
Q, you would never do that.
If I wanted to get out of a contracted situation, yes. I don't stay where I don't want to be. Sorry. DJ Q's too valuable.
I mean, I think we all here know we would just leave the situation if it wasn't healthy for us.
Not if you're under contract. But we could, let's move on.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we will continue our top headlines discussion. University of North Carolina has hired their new basketball coach. We'll find out who after our break. This is the W Show.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked. and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small direct club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Smile Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it, message us, and we will talk about whatever topic you want. We'll start off with University of North Carolina hiring Hubert Davis as head men's basketball coach. He says, I'm proud, thankful, humbled, appreciative of being your new men's basketball coach for the University of North Carolina. Davis said the decision arrives just days after Hall of Fame head coach Roy Williams announces his retirement last Thursday. Steve, we'll start with you.
I'm excited for Davis. Like he's there's only a number of guys that are Division I head coaches, and for a prominent program like North Carolina, I mean that's just a round of applause goes to him, man. Because when you look at the guys that are head coaches right now, the Juwan Howard at Michigan, of course Patrick Ewing. And then right down the road at Mizzou, you have Quanzo Martin. And there's a number of other guys. I mean, Penny Hardaway down at Memphis. But he's definitely the first at North Carolina. So for this story blue blood program, I think that they'll be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, this is big for Black coaches. The representation there, yes. A guy that can relate to players and get the most out of them. Being a Black head coach, yes. I just, I hope it works out for him.
Mm-hmm. NBA player as well. I think that's huge. It is a story program. They have plenty of players that have gone, from the league that have experiences with Coach Roy Williams. I'm sure he'll be right there, every step of the way. Hubert's a good guy. And, just having that connection, from the NBA to, the college ranks. I'm very excited for him to be the head coach there. And hopefully, I mean, this season last couple of seasons have been pretty rough for UNC. I'm sure, injecting some new energy into their program, and we'll see how good of a recruiter he is, because I think that was kind of Roy Williams' calling card was, he can go get the players, like he can go get, those top 5 recruits. So we'll see. I'm excited for the UNC program.
For sure. Now, Tyreek Hill responds to a low tip complaint from wait staff. The wide receiver was outed on Twitter for giving no tip at a restaurant. One member of the wait staff who recognized him was not happy. Rather than hide from the allegation, Hill came forward and explained the situation firsthand, rather than letting it circulate on social media.
Yeah. His name is Janks, so he's probably a janky individual. So I'm not surprised that his service was bad.
Yeah. But typically, we talked about it. If service is bad, you don't leave just like 0. If service is bad, I typically leave a little under 10%, a couple bucks. Exceptionally well, you'll get 15, 8, 20% from me. But I mean, I'm not gonna say I have never not left 0, because I've done that plenty of times. Like if your service, if it's horrible,
definitely,
I may just get up and walk out. Like, come on. So
man, he didn't put all the onus on his girl. He didn't, now everybody looking at her like, what? Why you left 0? I don't know why you wouldn't know how much you, wouldn't leave.
That's
strange.
Because even in bottle service, it's like the boss move is, okay, give her my card and sign off for it. In whether it's in the club industry for bottle service, like whoever's buying the bottle, they're normally not the ones signing the paper. So I believe him in that instance. And I also believe that Mr. Jenks probably gave him some very terrible service. So that should be a lesson for Mr. Jenks that, you know, even though you do have a celebrity that you recognize, you should probably give them service no matter who they are. Give them the best service you can.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm reading, it wasn't the guy in the tweet was, I think he was the one that wasn't even him that like was the server. I think he just posted that. I think somebody else was.
Oh, so this wasn't even the server?
It wasn't even him. Like nobody really knows what happened.
This shouldn't even be a story. Because how do we know that cash wasn't left?
We don't know what actually happened.
Yeah. So this was just a Twitter troll. Again,
it could be any number of those things could have happened. They could have left cash on the table. Anything else could have happened. So I looked at this and I was like, man, you know what? Go ahead, Tyreek. You good, man. You out here doing what you're supposed to do, man. So
somebody should interrogate Mr. Jenks.
Mr. Jenks.
But making it blast Draymond Green for women's sports takes. He says you showed your whole behind. Hated her, love it.
Yeah, this is crazy.
What happened?
We've been talking about this for as long as we've been talking about DeShaun Watson. So basically, when Draymond Green came out and said, basically, stop getting mad at the players, start getting mad at the corporations who aren't telling your stories. Everybody decided, to kind of go back at Draymond and say, hey, like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, why are you giving the take on this? Like, where's your support been for, women's sports? And it's kind of just been a big hoopla, basically, because I think Draymond Green wants to push women's sports forward. I think he was just kind of, trying to give some misguided advice, maybe, because I don't think he's that well versed in exactly what these women are, trying to get at. Like, they know exactly what's going on in the trenches because they're the ones that are interacting with these corporations and these people. I think Draymond is just kind of looking at it from the outside, looking in, trying to offer advice. Yep. And he just doesn't know all of the details, so he just kind of gave general advice.
Yeah, he's most definitely yelling out of the window of the castle down to the village, like, hey, this is what should be happening, and he's speaking nothing factual. And so just another.
I think he wants to help, though. I do genuinely believe he wants to help. It's just one of those things that it's hard to like know all the facts if you're not in the trenches with these women. You don't know everything that they have to go through. You just kind of see what's reported, and that's kind of his what he was saying is he was like, well, you guys need to tell them to report your stories, and it's like it's not that easy. It doesn't just happen. Part of the problem. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, he genuinely wants to help. I feel like, but it was just kind of misguided.
And this kind of reminded me of the situation that we talked about recently about the women calling out Nike for contradicting themselves with the commercials and pregnant women. And so for me, I like to see that she stepped up and said something. Like it was kind of like, I'm checking you, even though I know that you want to help, but I don't necessarily want your unsolicited advice that you don't know about. So on one hand, maybe she could have gone about it in a different way, but I did like to see that she was able to call them out and be like, hey, if you don't really know or you're not doing anything to help the situation, then don't speak on it.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Call them to the carpet. You have to.
Exactly. So I like to see it on her behalf. So. But we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we will have our Hate It or Love It segment and kick it off with our sneakers of the week. This is the W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small direct club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Small Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Hate it.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
And for Sneakers of the Week, this week we'll start off with the Air Jordan 5 Toro Bravo.
Woo!
Love it. I like these. I really do. I'm kind of upset I didn't get them, but yeah, I like these. You see, I'm kind of down right now because I didn't get these, but I love them.
Yeah, these aren't my favorite 5s, but you know they're decent.
But the material though, once you get a smudge on those, that's a wrap.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking at. I don't like the material.
Now the Nike Crater Impacts.
I've seen these in person. These are fire. Like the whole Crater line that they have out with the speckle on the bottom. Yes, I love all these shoes.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah, those are hard. The Reebok Question Mid 13 Motorsports.
Yeah,
a lot of colorways for these.
I love these.
Yep, and then Nike LeBron 7 Baseball Blues.
They cool.
Mm-hmm. They are decent. I ain't gonna lie, they decent.
Yeah, LeBron made these for, of course, the LA Dodgers winning the pennant last year. So he made these with a couple of that resembles those. So they're uniform.
Yeah, I'd rock them. Now the WNBA rolls out new Nike jerseys for 2021 season and 25th anniversary celebration. Hate it or love it.
Good. More stuff like this.
Love it. Yeah, sure. Definitely love it.
Love it. The Red Sox unveil Patriots Day inspired unis. Hate it or love it.
I love it. It was cool.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I have no qualms with that. Boston just has a good jersey already anyway. So
yeah,
it was cool.
Definitely different. It kind of reminds me of the Bruins.
Yeah,
they're definitely different than just the red and navy blue.
Very Bruins.
I like it.
I'm a fan. Shaq pays for random guy's engagement ring at an Atlanta jewelry store. Hate it or love it.
Love to see it.
I love it.
Let's see the video.
Tuesday, wherever you get your podcast.
So we just got the boogeyman back in the day.
Man, Shaq's a little booger.
Yeah, y'all are wild. Look at this. Shaq randomly played for a young man's engagement ring?
You know what happened yesterday?
When did this happen?
This happened yesterday. So I was in Zales looking for some loop earrings. And I seen the guy.
With the blue shirt on?
Yeah.
You went to the mall and went to Zales?
Wait, what?
You told me
to go to Piedmont Park. You're going to Zales?
First of all, I have a jewelry line at Zales, first of all.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
my bad.
What kind of jewelry?
Everything. So anyway, I went in there to get some loop earrings. And I seen the guy come in. He was just so shy. He was saying, hey, how much do I owe to pay off my ring? It was just, and I was like, my man, how much is the ring? And I'm not going to say the amount, but it's not enough for me. But I just, and this is something that I do every day. The other day, me and my mom went furniture shopping, and this lady, she had a autistic daughter. And, she was also, looking to pay for some furniture. And I just took care of it. So I'm into making people happy. So whenever I leave the house, I just try to do a good deed. Like, I didn't mean for that to get out because I don't do it for that, but like the guy just came in and, he's a young kid. He's a hard-working guy. He's like, hey, man, I can come back next month and the next, layaway. Like, he put some money down, but I was like, you know what? Tell your girlfriend I got it, take care of it. At first, he didn't want to take it. He's like, nah, I can't do that. I said, don't worry about it. I do it all the time. So I'm just trying to make people smile, that's all.
Sounds like you picked a winner. Well done by you.
Yes,
Now his
thank
woman
you.
know he ain't paid for the ring though.
Yeah, why did you, now everybody knows.
Now everybody know. Now his woman gonna know he ain't.
However, the money that he was going to pay for the ring, now he can use that for the
wedding.
honeymoon.
Very true. Very true.
There you go, big fella.
So in the West.
Like now his woman know that he ain't paid for the ring. No.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is that a thing? I didn't even know that was a thing. He got paid for it. So
Yeah, no, I love it. Shaq digging into his own pockets, because if that was J.J. Watt, he would have started a GoFundMe.
Yeah, I love to see it. Now Stephon Curry's sporting shoes is in solidarity with Asian community for Easter Sunday game.
Yeah, I love it.
Love it.
Love it.
Love to see. I like this a lot.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs signs endorsement deal with Jordan Brand. Hate it or love it.
Love it.
Love they getting into football now.
Anytime someone signs with Jordan Brand, it's always a highlight to my day. But yeah, they've been around. Jordan's been involved with football for a long time, number of years. Tyrann Mathieu, I think he's one of my most notable guys that I know that's with Jordan Brand, because he always has the exclusives. Anytime I'm in the locker room, Tyrann always has the shoes that are coming out 3 months down the road. And I'm like, hey, man, can I just give you $200 and you tell them to send you a size 12? And he told me, he was like, all right, cool. I'll do it. But he hasn't, Tyrann, if you watching the show, hey, man, I'm still waiting on my kicks, bro.
I don't know if it works that way. I don't know if it does, but
it most definitely does.
Good luck to you on your future endeavors, because the Nike app is also listening. So,
yeah, because Ann's son definitely ain't allowing that to happen. not on his watch.
You remember what Cam Jordan told us when we were at the Super Bowl? He came on the show. He said that he just wakes up and they're delivering packages.
They delivers and packages. Yeah, he doesn't have to ask. Look, same as Ann's son. He don't have to ask. The company is gonna buy it for him.
Mm-hmm.
If you get one though, I wear a size 7. Just so you jokes he does Bitcoin for a living and TikTok. Hate it or
I like Giannis so much, man. Giannis is so funny. He's so unironically funny. Like, I just love it. Like, it's so goofy and corny.
Let's see what he said in the video.
Love your car. What do you do for a living? Bitcoin? Bitcoin.
No, man, no, we just work hard. We work extremely hard.
Work hard. All right. All right. Nice to meet you, man. See you guys.
First of all, who was the TikToker that goes up to their Rolls Royce Cullinan and is like, what do you guys do for a living?
That's been a trend for a little minute now.
You mean tell me you don't know who Giannis is? Like, come on,
probably did. He could have, but that's been a trend for a minute.
So to someone like, what do you do for a living?
Yeah. Basically, nice car.
I know it was in A Pursuit of Happiness when Will went up to the guy and was like, all I want to know is what do you do and how do you do it?
I mean, yeah, that's
that went over y'all head, huh? Y'all didn't see Pursuit of Happiness.
That's the old school version. Everybody's seen Pursuit of Happiness.
I don't watch movies that make me cry more than once.
And that's a good point, Q, because I don't either. I don't like being feeling that vulnerable that often.
And I didn't cry in that movie. I'm just saying people have, and so I'm not gonna go see it.
Yeah, I heard. Me too.
Now, New York Jets trade Sam Darnold to Carolina Panthers for 3 draft picks. Hate it or love it.
Ooh, that's a lot. That is a lot.
When Sam Darnold is not going to make your team better.
When you have a guy that's as good as Teddy Bridgewater and you make this trade, nah. But that's, I love the disrespect that Teddy Bridgewater and Tyrod Taylor consistently takes, because they are better than the Chase Daniels out there. And
hold on, Chase Daniel is the lifetime backup quarterback, man. He's solid.
Yeah, he's solid.
He's somebody else.
Teddy Bridgewater is better than him.
Mitchell Trubisky is somebody.
No, because I was about to compare Sam Darnold to Chase Daniel. So that was more of a slight to Sam Darnold than it was to Chase Daniel.
Jazz, I don't think we can hear Jazz. She's still on. She's muted.
Oh, sorry. Jeopardy contestant left host Aaron Rodgers speechless by referencing a controversial Packers play. Hate it or love it.
I love it.
I loved it. I definitely do.
Let's hear from Rogers.
Over to our two-day champion on the end. Scott, did you come up with the correct response? Who wanted to kick that field goal? That is a great question. Should be correct, but unfortunately for this game today, that's incorrect, and you're going to lose 0. Thank you for that, and congrats on your 2-day win streak. I can see it on the podium, and I was like, please put something about the field goal on there. You will always be all time in my book, my friend. My first show, and that's what you said at the end. Thank you for that.
That's pretty funny, though.
Love you.
Yeah, it's when you have a guy like that that can find humor in something like that that's a joke towards him, it's always fun. Another good show today, everyone. We appreciate everybody that joined in on today's show. Remember, you can catch a rewind of the W Show on Mondays on 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, anytime on social media, and we also have a podcast of our show on the Sideline Sports Talk Network. Download it wherever you get your podcast. Until next week, we are out of here.
The views and opinions expressed in the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.